Yeah. Y'all watching the Grind Ethiks mixtape show, and I'm your host, Viktory BX Supreme Promoter. Basically, I'm Shane. Basically. Thank y'all for watching new episode of Grind Ethiks. Yeah, man. Pardon me if I'm kind of ruggish. I just woke up. I was like, you know what? Let me make a morning video. Fuck it. Because in the nighttime or in the evening, I don't be having when I come home from hustling, I don't feel like, putting together a video or videos, whatever. I might put together another video later on this evening. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, man. Anybody that like this episode, I'll be very grateful if anyone follow me on Instagram. The link is on below, Grind Ethiks Instagram, and I'm also on TikTok. And if you definitely like this episode, I'd be very grateful if anyone can make a friendly donation. The goal is to build up a staff of freelancers or freelance promoters to help promote Grind Ethiks so I could build up a fan base. And also, get buy social media ads, basically. Basically, I want to build up Grind Ethiks Media, build up an infrastructure for Grind Ethiks Media. That's the goal. Is to build infrastructures, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm on retirement mode, man. Retiring from working hard for money and all that shit. Not retiring from working in general. But anyway, that's going to be a whole nother episode. But yeah, this episode is about the dopamine in conjunction with money, right? The topic of today's show is the dopamine is one of the reasons why people go broke. Yes. Your dopamine is one of the reasons why you go broke. If you ever been broke or if you're broke now. It's not the only reason. It's not the only reason because if you live in New York City, a lot of people go broke on the strength of high prices, the cost of living. You got people in New York, Chicago, LA, expensive cities like that. They go broke on the strength of paying too much for the things that paying too much money for the things that they need. Even if they're not materialistic or even if they don't buy things that they don't need. But we're talking about people going broke because of their dopamine, because they stay buying things that they don't need because of their dopamine. I know some of y'all are like, yo, Viktory, what the hell is dopamine? I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to tell you. Dopamine is a chemical or hormone that's in everybody's brain. Everybody in this world has a dopamine, right, in their brain. And the dopamine is active through the things that you like. You feel pleasure. When you feel pleasure, when you feel joy in your life, right? Or for the moment, or for days and weeks, you feel joy, you feel pleasure. It's because of your dopamine. Your dopamine is activated. That's why you feel pleasure. Like, let's say you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit. You feel like crap, right? You feel like your world is about to end until you drink your first cup of coffee for the day. Then you feel good. You feel like Superman or Superwoman. Okay? It's because that coffee actually activated your dopamine. Now you feel kind of high, So there's different ways. So when you're going through lows in your life, because I know just like me, sometimes or half the time, I wake up every morning feeling like I ain't shit, feeling shitty. until I take my cup of coffee or until I listen to some motivational videos or whatever. Motivational videos too is one way that you can increase your dopamine level. You know, so your dopamine is basically something that's in your brain, a chemical or hormone that's activated through pleasure, basically. And it could be short-term pleasure and it could be kind of long-term pleasure. You know, people confuse this with happiness, but this is not happiness. Feeling pleasure and feeling having joys in certain periods of your life, that's not happiness. That's pleasure because your dopamine level is activated. Okay, so that's what the dopamine is. It's something that's in your brain, a hormone that's activated through pleasure. Okay, there's a good way and there's a bad way to increase your dopamine level, right? Taking drugs, having too much reckless sex is a wrong way to increase your dopamine level. Buying too much stuff, being over materialistic. You know what I'm saying? Increases your dopamine level. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Or getting used to going to the casino after you work, after you go finish your job, you go straight to the casino. Or after you get paid, you go straight to the casino every week and you fuck up your money. You know, see, that's your dopamine level, you know, and your dopamine, it attracts you to people, places, and things. Like, let's say after, like I said, let's say every Friday when you get paid from your job, you go straight to the casino and gamble your money. You do this every fucking Friday for like the last 2 years of your life. You do this every Friday. You know what I'm saying? To the point where you might decide and you might make a decision in your head. You might be like, you know what? I'm not going to the casino today. I'm not going to the casino today. But something in your head is like bothering you to go to the casino because you're so used to go to the casino. Is your dopamine. Your dopamine is also addicted to routines, good and bad routines. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why people are addicted to drugs, basically. That's the main reason. It's the dopamine. The main reason why people are addicted to drugs is the dopamine. It's the dopamine. Why you think they call heroin dope? Because people are addicted to heroin because of the dopamine. The heroin that people take, it activates people's dopamine to the point that they want it more and more and more. This is why they call heroin dope. If you break down the word dopamine, I'm like, wow. Nobody can tell me this just on the strength of me looking at the spelling. I'm like, hold up. The first 4 letters of dopamine is dope. And people are addicted to dope. Oh, shit. Okay. Now, what this has to do with money? Okay. I'm going to tell you. A lot of people go broke because of their dopamine. If you're a materialistic person and you feel like you have to go shopping every day or every week, it's because of your dopamine. Or you feel like you have to buy trees every single day, it's because your dopamine. You're so used to buying trees after work or after school. So you have to, your dopamine feels like it has to smoke weed all the time. All the time. That was my situation with my dopamine. I felt like I had to buy trees every fucking day. And I kind of slowed that down. I still puff trees. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a president of the Puffin Trees Club. Okay, I'm still the president, but I don't buy trees every day. I don't. But yeah. But this is what the dopamine does. Because there's been times when I've gone broke. You know what I'm saying? Buying trees. every day. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it does. It makes you, dopamine has a tendency to make you go broke, especially if you're materialistic. If you materialistic and feel like you got to buy things, buy a bunch of things you don't need, buy a bunch of liabilities, you know what I'm saying? It's your dopamine. This is why celebrities go broke, because they get all that money and they feel like they got to spend it over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? This is why people go broke. It's because of the dopamine. Your dopamine feels like it needs stuff. It needs something. You're so used to buying clothes, buying expensive stuff. Your dopamine is like, yo, what's going on here? Why are we not going shopping? Why are we not going to no expensive restaurant? Or why we not buying? We're not gonna buy a nice thing today. We're not gonna buy nothing nice today. And then you go off and buy something nice, something flashy, something that's going to depreciate over time, lose value over time. And this is what we do with our money. This is what a lot of people, especially a lot of Americans across the board, especially middle-class people or middle-class Americans, have a tendency to buy a bunch of stuff that'll make them go broke, or buy a bunch of liabilities, or buy a bunch of stuff that'll make them feel rich. But most of the things that people want, or most nice things that people want that'll make them feel some type of success or some type of richness, is going to go down in value anyway. You know? But that's a whole other episode. So for those who's watching, I'm telling y'all, one of the reasons why you're broke, if you broke because you constantly buying things you don't need, that's your dopamine. Your dopamine is making you broke. You got to know, and you got to know that. You got to know and understand your dopamine, and so therefore you can control yourself. You know, after this show, if you're not too clear about what the dopamine is, or if you want to go further about the dopamine, after this show, log on to the dopamine. What is the dopamine? Or log on to neuroscientists on YouTube that talk about the dopamine. The dopamine could be a motherfucker, man. I'm telling you, this is why we're addicted to shit. This and us human beings, we cannot stop being addicted to stuff because of the dopamine. But we have control over it. We can control it if we know and understand it. But if you don't know and understand it, it's like you're gonna go crazy buying a bunch of stuff you don't need, and then crying about, oh, I'm broke, or crying about your job, crying about your boss is not giving you no raise. No, it's not your boss. It's not your job. It's you, my nigga. It's you and your fucking dopamine. It's you and your dopamine, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm out, man. I hope I'm clear about what the dopamine is. I just want y'all to know what it is, man. And being that this is a financial channel, I just want to break that down in conjunction with money, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm out, y'all. And remember, peoples, tell a friend to tell a friend that is all about the mother effing grind, basically.